All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving deep into one heck of a scene.
Oh, yeah.
A full-on airborne assault
Airborne assault.
on Castle Ravenloft. Think desperate last-ditch effort to stop a vampire wedding.
And topple a tyrant.
We're talking crazy, high-stakes, shaky alliances.
And the fate of Barovia hanging in the balance.
Okay, so we're going to break this down.
All right.
Scene by scene.
Let's do it.
Starting with your companions.
Okay.
They're holed up in this cave with all the prisoners they just rescued.
Right.
And they're, figuring out their next move.
Classic,
Heist movie.
Yes, heist movie moment.
Yeah, they're going over the plan.
Exactly.
But instead of, cracking a safe or something,
Yeah.
they're taking on a centuries-old vampire.
Vampire lord.
Vampire lord. The stakes are a little higher.
Okay. So a raven shows up.
Messenger Raven.
Messenger raven.
Mm-hmm.
With news.
Big news.
Huge news, actually.
The abbot has arrived.
At Ravenloft.
Yeah, you remember him? So he arrives at Ravenloft just an hour before dawn.
The Vistani, those nomadic people often linked to Strahd.
Oh, yeah, the Vistani.
The transcripts mention they took him to the gates of Ravenloft.
To officiate Strahd's wedding, right? We've got information suggesting his motives are, not so pure.
Not so pure.
What's his end game here?
He believes he's found the key to breaking the curse.
Okay.
But his methods are, let's just say, unorthodox.
Unorthodox, try disturbing, gone completely off the deep end.
Yeah. Consumed by madness.
The Archives of Rohadin actually mention him in a section called Healing and Hope.
Ironic, isn't it? Considering what we're about to delve into. Family, the Belleviews, they came to the abbot seeking help.
What's wrong with them?
That's the thing. It's not entirely clear. They had these inner defects that traditional healing couldn't touch, almost like some kind of spiritual sickness.
And you think those defects were somehow tied to the curse?
It's the most likely explanation.
Okay, so the abbot, he's seeing these people suffering, people like the Belleviews, and he's desperate to help them.
Right. And remember, this is Barovia. Desperation can lead people to do some pretty extreme things.
So he starts experimenting, trying to find a way to counter the curse, to heal these inner defects. What was he even trying to achieve in Barovia?
He had these two big plans that he was working on.
What were those plans all about again?
All right, so the Uberfolk plan, this was like something straight out of a sci-fi thriller.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted to transform mortals into these insect-human hybrids.
Whoa, hold on. Insect-human hybrids. What was he thinking?
His idea was to create a society incapable of suffering.
So the historical records, like the journals we've looked at, point to this ancient evil, like a decayed god of death that just, feeds on the suffering and death in Barovia. It's like this parasite, right?
Gross.
Drawing sustenance from all the negative energy of people.
And it seems like he thinks that just by, eliminating suffering and death, he can essentially starve this god, this parasite.
So these emotionless, bloodless hybrids are supposed to be, immune to the curse's effects?
Basically.
So they can't suffer if they can't feel, and they can't die if they have no blood?
Pretty much.
It's a pretty logical solution.
I mean, in a very cold way.
Yeah, but is it even, possible?
That's where the insects come in.
Okay.
So his research says that he's using insect parts to give these hybrids a type of immortality, so they can just keep replacing aging or damaged body parts with new insect parts.
Geez, so imagine a society where no one has love or joy or grief
Or fear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a pretty bleak picture of the future.
definitely.
Like humanity without its essence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's is this really what he wants for Barovia?
Yeah, I mean, is it?
Well, that's a question that really haunts his journals.
Oh, yeah.
He grapples with the morality of what he's doing and calls it this necessary evil.
Right.
So we also have info on this empty vessel plan, right?
Yeah, the empty vessel.
So tell me about that.
So it's the Deva's obsession with Strahd's beloved Tatiana.
Right. That's it.
Remember, she's trapped in this reincarnation cycle, always dying tragically.
Right.
He wants to break that cycle by creating a flesh golem copy of Titana.
Oh, wow.
This empty vessel to hold her soul after she dies.
What's the logic there?
Well, he thinks that this vessel will have no fear and just be totally obedient to Strahd. And that'll break the cycle of death and rebirth that's fueling Strahd's despair and cruelty.
Oh.
But actually, based on Strahd's own writings, he thinks his plan is totally dumb.
Really?
He wants actual love, not a puppet.
So even Strahd has standards.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so we have these two, like, super intense plans.
Right.
Both aimed at breaking the curse.
In wildly different ways, yeah.
One targets the root of the curse.
Right.
The evil god. And the other is going right for Strahd.
So it seems like he believes the ends justify the means.
Nah.
But, like, at what cost?
Yeah, it's not...
Barovians are already in this, like, nightmare world.
Right.
And now they're looking at becoming, like, emotionless husks.
Not his best work.
And this sets up this amazing showdown.
Oh, yeah.
At the gates of Ravenloft, two of these creepy insect guards, they're standing between the companions.
Between them and their goal.
But how did the companions even figure out what was going on with the diva?
Well, one of them, Eric the cleric, had this dream.
A dream?
Yeah, a premonition that a new ally could be found by curing someone lost in a maze of delusions.
Oh, so he figured out that it was the diva.
Exactly.
So what's their plan of attack looking like? Well, we've got Gamber, the giant green-skinned fighter.
Okay.
Who can tap into this rage.
That's Gamber.
Uh-huh. Then there's Eric the cleric, the healer, who can even bring folks back from the dead.
There's someone missing from this lineup, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Where in the mists Tink, the were-raven cleric?
Seriously, what's she up to? But I guess that's a story for another time.
Indeed. Got Kashmir, the werewolf barbarian.
Oh, yeah. Tearing through enemies like a
whirlwind.
And we can't forget Zan.
Zan.
The dusk elf wizard.
With those spectral blades.
Cutting through the undead. So they've got the muscle and the magic covered.
Yeah, they sound pretty formidable.
Okay, in the middle of all this chaos, Eric pulls off this amazing feat. He channels his power.
His divine power.
Divine power. And heals the abbot's madness. And then, big reveal.
What is it?
The abbot transforms.
No way.
He's a deva.
A celestial being.
A celestial being.
That's a game changer.
Total game changer.
Narratively and strategic.
Victory comes at a price.
Doesn't it always?
One of those hybrid guards
gets
a hit in on Eric. Fatal blow. And here we
Yeah.
see the deva.
Okay.
He does something amazing.
What's that?
He uses his celestial power
Oh, wow.
to bring Eric back.
He resurrects it.
He resurrects him. So Eric's back.
All right. After he gets killed by Zito.
They regroup.
Okay. Here's where Gamber and his missing hand come into play.
All right, lay it on me.
So Gamber had lost his hand earlier in the adventure. He was using this attachment to wield a blade, but that got lost when he died and was resurrected.
Yet dying and coming back seems to be a recurring theme with this group.
For sure. It's a dangerous business, this curse breaking.
No kidding. So Gamber needs a new hand, particularly with this big assault on Ravenloft coming up.
Exactly, and he turns to the newly sane Deva for help.
Makes sense.
And the Deva decides to give Gamber a new hand, but it's not what you'd expect.
Okay, what did it do?
The more we look into this, the abbot's story becomes this tale of contrast. Makes you think about redemption, right?
It does.
Especially in a place like Barovia.
No kidding.
Unfortunately, we don't have time for hypotheticals. The abbot is a wild card, and his actions could have terrible consequences. It took Zito's bone scythe, that serrated bone forearm, and grafted it onto Gamber's stump.
Right, what?
Yeah, permanently replaced his hand with a bone scythe.
A bone scythe hand.
A bone scythe hand.
Wow, that is a choice.
That's putting it lightly.
I mean, it seems helpful on the surface. Right, Gamber needs a hand. The Deva had one available.
Yeah, but there's something about it that just feels off.
Like, why that solution? Why not just, a regular hand?
Exactly. It's like the Deva, even though it's not insane anymore, is still fundamentally misunderstanding something here.
And that bone scythe. It's not just any old weapon, right? It represents the Diva's darkest period. Its twisted attempt to fix Barovia.
Right. And now that same tool of control is literally a part of Gamber.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not sitting right with me.
It shouldn't.
Like, what does this mean for Gamber?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it. He's a fighter, known for his strength and skill with weapons.
Yeah, but this isn't just another sword or axe he picks up. This is part of him now.
That's what makes it so creepy, right?
Definitely.
And remember, this thing belonged to Zito, one of the emotionless Uberfolk.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
And they were basically programmed by the Diva, right? Like, driven by this single purpose.
Exactly. What if a piece of that remains in the bone scythe itself?
Okay, well, hold on. So you're saying there's like some essence of Zito still hanging around in that bone thing?
It's possible. And now it's a part of Gamber. Could it influence him somehow?
You're freaking me out a little bit here.
Yeah.
Like, could it actually mess with him? Mentally? Even physically?
It's not impossible. Especially in Barovia. I mean, think about it. This place is full of cursed items and artifacts. Objects with power.
Okay, yeah, true. And those things definitely have some kind of weird energy attached to them.
Exactly. They hold memories, echoes of the past.
So Gamber's carrying around a piece of Zito's past. A piece of the diva's madness.
I have a lot to handle.
More than a little bit.
Yeah.
But what if it really was just trying to help?
It's possible. Even then, you gotta ask, was this really the best solution?
Yeah, a regular functional hand would be a lot more practical, right?
Especially for a fighter. He needs dexterity, a grip.
Well, maybe that's the whole point.
What do you mean?
Maybe the diva, even after being cured, is still totally missing the mark. Like, it's used to these big sweeping solutions, not the day-to-day struggles.
So it's not thinking about the practicalities of Gamber actually using this thing.
Right, like, oh, you need a hand, here's a bone scythe, problem solved.
Without considering the potential downsides.
Exactly. And that could be really bad for Gamber, even if the diva meant well.
It's like they say the road to hell is paved with human-insect hybrids, right?
Totally. Okay, so lots of unknowns, lots of potential for things to go wrong.
Definitely.
But can we back up for a second? And they're going to try to stop this wedding no matter what.
Right.
But they can't just walk into the castle this time. They're attacking from the sky.
Yeah.
They'll be facing vampires and probably a whole lot more.
It really shows how desperate they are. I mean, they're up against impossible odds.
Right.
But they're not giving up.
Yeah, they definitely have guts.
For sure.
So how does this crazy plan even begin?
Well,
Did they just fly in with spells blazing?
not exactly. This whole plan seems incredibly risky.
It's a suicide mission, pretty much.
A small group going up against Strahd in his own castle.
So they hatched this audacious plan to use the abbot to gain entry into Ravenloft.
The abbot, remember, he's finally free from Strahd's mind control.
Right.
He tries to negotiate entry as a guest. He's using his past, all the mock weddings Strahd made him perform.
Oh, so he's using Strahd's own twisted games against him.
Exactly.
That's pretty gutsy. But did it work?
Well, Strahd's not stupid. It's such a risky gamble. Relying on Strahd, underestimating them, and playing on the abbot's madness.
Right.
It shows just how desperate they are, but also their willingness to take these bold risks.
So the companions approach the gates of Ravenloft.
Okay.
And suddenly this dazzling illusion of Strahd appears. It's like he's beckoning the abbot closer. He lures the abbot into an ambush with that illusion. As soon as the abbot is within striking distance, bam! Strahd's 3 vampire consorts.
Anastasia, Escher, and Ludmilla, they all attack from the towers.
Wow.
It's this chaotic explosion of violence. The abbot transforms into a mammoth and just tramples one of the consort.
Pulls over Anastasia.
Whoa.
I know. And then get this, he shifts back to his diva form and starts taunting her.
Oh, wow. Talk about adding insult to injury.
Right.
Imagine that.
A celestial being, once imprisoned by his own fractured mind, now a force of nature.
Imagine trying to fly when these powerful vampires are shooting at you.
Yeah, that does not sound like a good time.
No, not at all.
So this is where things get really crazy, right?
Absolutely.
What happened?
Remember Gamber? He was flying toward the middle tower?
Yeah. But the danger is all too real, especially when they encounter the next obstacle. An undead minotaur armed with a rather unsettling weapon.
Oh, yes.
We're talking about a catapult launching a barrage of severed claws.
Grisly, isn't it?
Gamber tries to fly into the fray, but he gets knocked out of the sky. He's pinned down, wounded, and in a precarious position.
This doesn't sound good.
It's a testament to Eric's quick thinking and magical abilities that he's able to act swiftly.
So he comes to the rescue.
He manages to banish the Minotaur, at least temporarily, and then swoops down to rescue Gamber.
What a relief.
The very narrow escape, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. But they're far from safe, aren't they?
And now it's Zan who takes the spotlight. He teleports himself and Kashmir directly into the heart of the battle.
Zan unleashes a devastating fireball, obliterating the undead guards.
Wow.
And leaving the remaining ones charred and completely disoriented.
Talk about making a statement.
The companions know they can't win a prolonged fight outside the castle walls.
Makes sense.
So they make the daring decision to press forward directly into Ravenloft itself.
Bold move. They're still surrounded.
Right?
Undead guards closing in from the ground.
And the consorts from above.
Furious.
So they're trapped.
It's desperate.
They're going to have to work together.
Can Gamber take to the skies?
All right.
Diva carries Kashmir like,
Like a divine football.
like a divine football. Zan teleports ahead,
leading the charge. And just as they breach the castle, Strahd's consorts are closing in from behind.
Oh no.
This airborne assault was a very daring move. They relied on chaos and pure improvisation to survive that initial confrontation.
Yeah.
We see the companions at their most heroic here, pushing their limits, facing their fears, and refusing to back down, even when the odds are stacked against them.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was quite an entrance.
The companions have breached the castle's defenses,
They have.
but now they're trapped inside the belly of the beast, so to speak.
You're left wondering, will they be trapped? Outnumbered. It's a real cliffhanger moment.
They've made it inside, but the true battle is just beginning. This is going to be good.
What awaits them within those dark and twisted halls of Ravenloft?
I can't wait to find out.
Fear not. brains.